anybody's situation looking for a deal. You could do it two ways. You can go on Zillow, just type in Zillow.com, and you could just type in the city, Denver, Colorado, and you can literally just go here, find a house that's been on market for, I would say, over 100 days or over 50 days. So days on Zillow, over days, we'll say. Okay. You can go for houses for sale. So this is one way of doing it. You just go on Zillow, you look at all the houses, right? You can stay beneath, let's say 800K. Perfect. Pick an area that you like, because you know Denver better than us, right? So let's say that this house is in this just got put on the market literally 2 hours ago. So let's go to page 7. How long have these been on? 2 days. Wow, there's a lot on market here. Okay. Go to page 9. Okay. So these houses have been here for a good amount of time. Don't deal with anything that's an auction house, because that means that you have to go through a bank and all that kind of stuff. Just look for houses for sale that have been on market for a good amount of time. So let's just click on this random one. For sale, 20 days. That's perfect. Okay. So it's a quadruplex. This is even better. That means there's 4 units in it. Okay. It's being sold for $475,000. All right. Design 2-bedroom. I don't know why it says quadplex, but that's okay. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna call Josh. We're gonna say, hey, I saw you had that house on Tamarack Street listed. I just want to verify all the information. It says that it's a quadruplex. Is it a multi-unit or is it just 1 unit? And he's gonna say, oh, it's 1 unit. It has 2 beds, 3 baths. It's 1,400 square feet. Gotcha. Okay. So it's 1 unit with 2 beds and 3 baths. He's gonna say yes. I'm gonna say okay. So I'm taking a look at all the pictures. Everything looks pretty good. Are there any repairs that are going to be needed on this place? Right, and just feel them out. Exactly what Blake was saying. Right, just feel them out. Figure out the situation. Okay. Usually the houses that are on market for a little bit longer, you have a little bit of leeway to kind of talk about that. So let's say this was on market for like 60 days. You could be like, hey, just quick question, Josh. This has been on market for like 65, 70 days. Like, is there a reason it's not selling? I mean, it's in a great area. It looks to be, priced pretty well. Like, is there something wrong with it? And they're gonna say, oh no, you know how the market is, and blah 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 blah. Right, the normal stuff the realtors say. That's why it's not selling. Right. You're gonna say, okay, well, I'm looking at it now. I don't think I could do the 475. It's a little bit out of the price range for kind of what I want to do with it. I want to rent this place out. So I'm an investor and I want to rent this property out. Any idea what rent goes for this area? And then they're going to tell you. Either they know or they don't. I just searched the address. Can you still see my screen?
Yep.
I searched the address, Tamarack, right? Pulls up. This thing says it rents out for about 2,500. Give or take. Okay, so we're gonna use 2,500 for our number. All right.
Good.
So he's gonna say, oh yeah, it rents out for about 2,500. Okay. You're gonna say, okay, 2,500. All right. Well, like I said, I'm looking for this as a rental property. So if I was at 475 to purchase this property, and go to a bank, I get a 7% interest rate probably. So at 475 with a 7% interest rate, I'm paying about 33K a year in interest. If I divide that by 12 months, because obviously there's 12 months in a year, it's looking like I'd be paying $27.70 every single month in interest. So, I mean, you said it rents out for how much? And they're like 2,500. Like, yeah. So, I mean, if I go to a bank and I get a mortgage on this thing and I rent it out, I'm losing $270 before even paying for insurance and taxes. You see how the math works right now? Like I'm explaining to you? So this place rents out, this place is super nice. It rents out for 2,500. if I go to a bank and say, hey, I want to buy this house for $475 from this owner, they're going to say, okay, cool. We're going to give you a 7% interest rate. You're going to be like, okay. Each month you're paying $27.70, but it only rents out for $2,500, right? So you're losing $200 by owning this house. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So by explaining that to the realtor and saying, listen, I mean, it looks like a great property. It looks like something that would be a good rental. They're usually, when you say something like, oh, I want to rent this, they always say something like, oh, yeah, this is a perfect place for a rental. Like there's so many rentals in this area and they're great and blah, 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 blah. They start like hyping it up because they want you to buy it, obviously, right? So they're like, oh yeah, this is perfect for rentals, right? Now that's when you start going into, okay, well, is there an HOA on it? And they say, yeah, it's $400 a month. You're like, oh, okay. Well, if I get a mortgage for $2,770, it rents out for $2,500, and I got to pay a $400 monthly HOA, I'm paying $3,100 a month, and I'm only bringing in $2,500. So I'm kind of losing money on that. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I guess you are kind of losing money. Yeah. So I mean, I don't think 475 will work for me. Just based off the numbers, but based off the math. What if instead of giving you, 475 cash, what if I gave you, and I know you're not receiving that 475 cash, because if you were, you would have sold it by now. It's been on market for 70 days, right? And they're like, yeah. So what if I gave you $500,000, so 25,000 above your asking price, I'm giving you 25 grand above your asking price, and I just do it on a set of payments. So rather than give me all the cash at once, right, I'm going to put in a set of payments for your client, and every single month I'm going to give them $1,000 in their pocket. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to fix the place up. They don't have to rent it to somebody. They're just collecting $1,000 every single month. And I'm going to give you guys a down payment of $50,000. So 10%. I'll give you guys $50,000 down, which is 10%. I'll give you $1,000 a month, and they don't have to worry about insurance, taxes, renting it out, anything like that. Okay? And at the end of our term length, which I think we should probably do like 8 years, does that work for your client? Well, I don't know. I have to talk to my client. Okay, yeah, no worries. So I'm thinking about 8 years. At the end of the 8 years, every single month I'm giving you $1,000. I will give you the remaining that I owe you of the $500,000 we originally agreed on at the end of that 8-year mark. Do you think that the seller would be open to that? And then you just wait and listen. I didn't even say the word seller finance. Right? I didn't even say it. I didn't even say the phrase seller finance. Why? Because whenever an real estate agent hears seller finance, they get scared. They're like, oh my gosh. Blah, blah. But if you explain it in a way that makes sense, right, to them, so that they can explain it to their seller, right, then there's a lot higher chance that they're going to be like, okay, yeah, I think they would be open to this. Let me present it to them. Can you send me an email with your offer? You're going to say, yep, I can send you an email. And I got emailed offers. I think Jack included some in the resources. You can copy and paste them and just change the address and the numbers and that kind of stuff. But in my opinion, that's the best way to do it. Just literally go on. It's the easiest way. Just go on Zillow, find houses that have been on market for a long time, and just literally listen to them and talk to them about the house. Right? And just be like, hey, would they be open to payments? That's it. That's all you got to do.
Sweet.
Simple, right?
Yeah.
Once you get a little bit more accustomed to talking to agents and making offers and that kind of stuff, then you can start getting into the calculators of like, is this a good deal? How can I work it? This and that, blah, blah, blah. You don't even have to give them numbers, really. Like when you're talking to the agent, you don't even have to give them a number. You don't have to say 50K down or 2,000 a month. Like those numbers don't really matter. The initial part is, hey, you're not selling this place for 585. Okay, it's been on market for whatever amount of days. Do you think they would be open to me giving them a little bit more money, like 600,000, 15K more, and just doing it on a set of payments? Do you think they would be open to that? And if they say no, then you don't have to waste your time looking up, oh, is this going to work for seller finance, blah, 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 blah. Because the hardest part is finding somebody who's open to seller finance. It's not making the deal work. Making the deal work is easy. I can get any freaking house and make it a deal, right? Like this one, if it's free and clear, if they own the property, I can make anything work, right? Like this house right here. It's the Zillow estimate is 671. The price is 669. This is a deal. Like already, without me even looking at it, it's a deal. How do I know that? Because this thing will probably rent out for like $3,000. If there's no mortgage on it, it's a deal. Okay, so that's why Jack and I are telling you, go to batch leads, make sure they're free and clear. The only thing that matters is that they've been on market for a good amount of time, like this place. 166 days, they have not sold this house. How is it possible that you've had a house on market for half a year and you haven't freaking sold it? There's got to be a reason. And the reason, they're priced way too high. That's 99% of the time, that's the reason. They're just priced too high, right? But this person owns this house outright. They own 100% of this house. Okay, so all we got to do is go to the listing, right? So we look it up on Zillow. So you got the property now. You literally copy it and paste it. Copy it, paste it into Zillow. Perfect. It's for sale for $700,000 and it's been on market for 166 days. So all you gotta do is call them up. Hey, tell me about the house. I'm interested. Yeah, here's information about the house. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. And it's sold. It's a nice house. It's huge. Is there something wrong? Is there a hole in the ceiling that I can't see in the pictures? Nope, nothing's wrong with it. It's just the market is bad. You're gonna say, okay, yeah, I saw it's on market for 166 days. Like, do you think it's a little overpriced? They're gonna be like, yeah, I've been trying to get the client to bring down the price, but they're firm on price. And that's when you go in for the kill. Oh, okay. Well, to be honest, like things in the area are not selling for this high. Like there's a house down the street that's selling for 100K less, and it's same size as yours. Does yours have a pool or something? No pool. Oh, why is yours priced differently? Well, that's what the client wants. I can't change their mind on that. All right. Well, let's see. I guess the only other thing that I can think of is if I did pay, and then when you go into the math of it, if I did pay $700,000, like I said, I'm trying to rent this place out, right? And then you go into the rental thing that I just talked about. I want to rent this place out. How much does it rent for? It rents for $3,000. All right, rents for $3,000. So if it rents for $3,000 and I'm getting a loan for $700K, at 7% interest, I'm paying $49,000 a year in interest. If I divide that by 12, that's $4,000 a month. And you said this place rents for how much? $3,000. Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. So you're looking for an end buyer then. You're not looking for any investors on this, are you? They're gonna be like, well, we're open to anyone. Okay, well, I'm guessing you haven't gotten a lot of good offers from investors, and they're gonna say, no, we've gotten a lot of like lowball offers. Like people are coming in like at 500,000 and 450,000. And that's when you're like, oh, damn, that's terrible. Like I would never make an offer to you for a 700,000 house. I would never make an offer at 450. Like that would be that'd be a slap in the face to you guys. So, I guess the only other option for me would be I guess I could probably do the 700, but it'd have to be on a set of payments. Because like I said, I'm not going to make any money from this if I buy it and I go to a bank and take out a loan. Do you think they would be open to sell some kind of payment option on this thing? That's it. The conversation should be like 5 minutes.
Okay. Sweet. Sounds
Does that make
pretty
sense?
straightforward. I think. Yeah, I appreciate it.